So I believe members have to vote on a leadership structure, and what I've proposed and what I've supported and what I've said from day one is co-leadership. And I would obviously love to be voted by members in a democratic conference to be a co-leader alongside Jeremy. I think that represents the diversity of our movement, but not in a tokenistic way. I think it represents the strengths that we have, how we speak cross-generationally, and how we can bring people together.
The leader is the figurehead, the spokespeople. So co-leadership works really, really well in that, because you get to say twice as much and meet twice as many people for a start. What's the team behind that as well? You know, if we're going to be taking on, seriously, and we are, a national government and opposing, how many shadow spokespeople are you going to need? How many people who are going to be competent on the economy, on transport, on business, on workers' rights? All of these things, if you're talking about running a country, you're going to need a huge number of people at that level. And in the interim to building up to that, you need a huge force of local leaders, not just councillors, but people who are organising on the ground. The best leaders are the ones who listen to other people and say, hey, you've got this, I'll do my bit.
I think it's really important to recognise the interests of legacy media in dividing our movement, in promoting the interests of their owners, billionaires, oligarchs, and so forth. And the way I have approached the new party and the way that I approach my work is not giving them an inch and engaging with them when I need to on a case-by-case basis. And my priority will always be independent and local media, and supporting journalists that are platforming our working class stories, industrial disputes, fighting the far right, Palestinian liberation, and so forth. And that is the way I will continue to operate. And I think it's really important that we all support independent left-wing media. We've got a really strong ecosystem and we have to support them.
I really like the independent media, although I am biased because I now write for independent media. But it actually brings a freshness to it, because rather than being, when I was in power, I was regularly asked, what's your opinion on this Westminster bubble story, that Westminster bubble story? And my opinion was, I don't know and I don't care. And what you get from the independent media is addressing the things that people do care about. And when we're dealing with the billionaire press, they're still going to be there. But what we need to do is use the alternative media, which now has a following of millions, to do an end run around that.
And we found that when we announced the party, legacy media were running stories whether or not we engage with them anyway. And so I think it's really important that you are clear with the reasons why you're engaging with them, and knowing that you can say no.